Hey everybody, welcome to the Soul Food Priest podcast with Father Ben. It is wonderful to have you. I'm sure most of us at some point have had sourdough bread, and sourdough bread is incredibly old. I mean, we're talking dates back 3,000 years before Christ. And maybe to that point, it's worth pointing out that the two oldest foods known to mankind, other than proteins like fish and meat, is bread and honey. And sourdough bread is very, very old. And one of my favorite bakeries here in the United States, it's called Tartine Bakery. And Tartine in French literally just means open-faced. So in 2002, Elizabeth Pruitt and Chad Robertson opened Tartine Bakery in San Francisco, and it's since spread. They've got many James Beard Awards and many awards. And Elizabeth is kind of the pastry chef, or I should say executive pastry chef, and Chad is kind of the head baker. And so Tartine is pretty amazing. They've done some amazing work over the years, and especially around bread and bread production. And one of the things that makes their bread so incredible is their levain, or sourdough bread, which is, some of you may know, that what gives sourdough bread its very distinctive tang, is lactic acid. So that tang is like kind of that sourness. It's almost like lemony or citrus, right? And I have to say for myself, I love a very distinctive sourdough tang. Some people kind of get turned off by this, but I love a bold flavor. And what happens to give it that bold tang is the lactic acid. The longer it sits and ferments in the poolish, or the original base of the dough, it has a stronger tang. So the lactic acid basically continues to eat and grow. And it's pretty awesome, the process. I mean, again, this is an old process. In fact, in France, they have some sourdough starters that are actually older than the country of France. They date back to when France was Gaul. And so pretty cool stuff, man. So maybe a lesson for us is, believe it or not, sometimes things, when they sit in our hearts, they can become acidic and caustic and poison. Not unlike lactic acid eating away, and making a bread sour. In the same way, say, bitterness, resentment. Some of these things, they can ferment in us to where it just kind of takes on a life of its own. And people are not even aware of it. The people around them are often aware of their own kind of lactic acid, or their acidic or toxic personalities, but they often don't see it. They don't see it. And so one of the things that for each one of us it's good to remember is to not buy into that. I mean, if we start sensing in ourselves this kind of acidic flavor, right, that's growing in us, so to speak, we need to stop, and we need to be humble, and we need to grow. And really what I would encourage people to do is read the lives of the saints, which really helps, because the saints themselves have had plenty of moments where they were very easily could have gone down this acidic path of bitterness and resentment. I mean, I'll give you an example. Saint Faustina, when she entered the convent at the early part of the 1900s, they didn't like her. The other nuns gave her a hard time. In fact, they kind of exiled her to the kitchen. There's many other saints like this. Saint Joseph of Cupertino, for instance, who was persecuted. Padre Pio was given a lot of crap from the other Franciscans. If you've ever read the story of Brother Lawrence, the practice and the presence of God, same thing. He was exiled to the kitchen and ended up becoming basically a saint by peeling carrots and potatoes. So how easy it would have been for these people to become bitter and resentful and going down their own lactic acid tunnel vision. But they didn't do that. And so the lesson for us is when we catch ourselves going down these roads, that we pull back and say, no, That's not good. That's not good. And of course, this is this whole process we call conversion and growth. Some days are easier, some days are harder, but the point is we don't give up. Don't forget to put soul in your food and give food to your soul. God bless you.